Alright, how is this? Connection a little more on point here? Looks to be so. Alright. Let me turn my AC off and we'll see if this is still going when I'm back. Oh, I've got a little echoing, do I? You tell me. Is it from here? I'm getting the echo? Oh, I can hear it. What is that? I don't know how to get rid of that. Are we doing it? Hmm. I mean, is it listenable? I don't know what's going on. It's so robotic, isn't it? Shoot. Settings. Audio. Hmm. Hmm. Input capture. Filters. You get to see me put on filters. Uh, compressor? I put on the compressor now. Let's see. Test, test, 1, 2. It takes a couple seconds to come around to my ears. Hmm. Shoot. Well, thanks for being here. I need your help to do a little, audio stuff. Headset instead of speakers. Hmm. Well, apparently it's just part and parcel. Thank you, question face. I'm trying to figure that out. Then I will start. Then we'll get into it. I don't know what filter I would put on this. Noise suppressor? Now what? Now I got the noise suppressor. If I don't get it after this... Okay. We're going to go with this then. Alright. 3, 2... Yeah, 3, 2, 1, we're going to go now. I'm turning down the stream volume. I'm just going to go right at you, where you're just going to have to deal with it. So, hello, my name is Marshall Applewhite, and you're watching the first episode, the pilot episode of the Young Saturnians stream podcast extravaganza experience. Here we will be looking into the unknown, things that cannot be foreseeably or easily proven or disproven. I was inspired to get into this because I hit a point where I just feel like politically and spiritually we're in a time of transition. We don't really we're not doing anything healthy for ourselves by using the phones all day in the fashion that we do. There's no reason why you have to be right about things. There's no level of effect that any of us really have. Your circle of influence is so much smaller than what is beamed into your eye holes day after day after day. And it's not good for you. So it's definitely not good for me either. So I'm doing something active about it. We are going to go look into things that are different. We're going to get into religion. We'll be getting into the occult. We'll be getting into odd people from all walks of life. But the goal in it is not to be what's the best way to put it? There's definitely, especially on YouTube, there's a whole subset that's just like, look at this funny person. Isn't he a goof? Let's just laugh at this guy. I want to peel back a little bit further than that. Put that aside. Put negativity aside, which is so prevalent in this day and age, and try and find something good in these weirdos. I myself being one of them. So, with all of that laid out, there's only one question that you need to answer. And that's, what is your warrior? Who are you going to be? The code fighter? Are you going to be the Kamehameha doctor? Huh? Oh, dude, he's got blink. Oh, crazy, whoa. Oh, he's a cook. He's a cook with a sword. Damn. Oh, Miss Marveling a UFO. What's up, man? Ah, crazy, dude. Crazy stuff, I tell you. I'm sorry, I make myself laugh here. I just thought that video was wild. And if World War III is anything like that, I think we're gonna be in for a good time. If it's against like Chinese and Russian people, Chinese and Russian bots, then it's going to be a lot like Dota 2. Austin is sword cook. So let's move on from there to something that I think goes in line as a good first step to getting further away from the obsession with truth and facts and logic that so many of us are locked into, and that is the replication crisis. We've been conditioned, especially given the past couple of years, to find people in positions of intelligence and authority and to put into them an almost religious level, a dogmatic level of following whatever it is they say. But there is this crisis, right, in various scientific and medical fields known as the replication crisis, and it states that despite all of the papers that are published day after day, year after year, only a very, very small amount of them are actually ever replicated, and some of them have this built-in inability, these multiple barriers that prevent them from being replicated and proved true. So I have the Wikipedia page up here. 2016 poll of 1,500 scientists reported that 70% of them had failed to reproduce at least one other scientist's experiment, including 87% of chemists, 77% of biologists, 69% of physicists and engineers, 67% of medical researchers. You get the idea. And 50% had failed to produce one of their own experiments, and under 20% had been contacted by another researcher unable to reproduce their work. So they don't even care. Or well, the only reason that we know about this is because there are people in this industry who do care about that sort of thing, and they recognize that it's a growing problem. But in the meantime, let's see here. Where is it? Out of 49 medical students between 1990 and 2003 with more than 1,000 citations, 45 claimed that the studied therapy was effective. Out of these studies, 16% were contradicted by subsequent studies. So if in the meantime, we're all just going to figure this out, we're going to let them figure this out, and we can move on to things that are more fun. We've seen all this stuff, especially over the past year. Oh, this works. Oh, wait, no, actually, this doesn't work. Oh, we think particular illness came from here. Oh, wait, no, that's not where it came from. Oh, wait, it actually might be where it came from. So that you should, if to take their word for it, you should put their faith in them until they tell you to change your mind. Now, I have in my hand one of the books that we will be delving into on this here. This is the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It tells you what to expect when you die. It tells you how best to die. And it documents a soul's travel through the nether realms, potentially joining back up with the Buddha. But if you fail to do so, you are recycled back into another form of existence. This is hogwash and bunk, and it's totally false by applicable scientific standards. But again, they'll tell you what's true until they change it. This cannot really ever be proven true or false until you make that big leap. Now, this is what I like, and this is where I think that we will find happiness and comedy and a moving forward into something productive, not just staring at your phone and getting mad at each other. It's ridiculous, and I'm over it. And so we will be moving on to what truly matters, and that is where we come to our next video. This is Asking Hunter-Gatherers Life's Toughest Questions by Fearless and Far. And I've got it time-stamped up here to play. I believe the question is, what makes them happy, or what's the point of life?
Youngest hunter Babua joins us. He wants to help clarify some of Sokolo's answers, starting with the importance.
How's the volume on that? Okay.
your happiest day? Now with Babua here, I ask again, what happens when you die?
Oh, low. Thank you there, Neebs. Where can I do that? Here we go. How's that? A little better? Yeah, you people.
Do they believe that they see their ancestors when they die?
Better? Okay, cool.
I asked Sokolo, what's your greatest fear?
At the current state that our super advanced society that can provide us all of these fantastic things is at, does this not appeal a little bit? Do the truths themselves not just warm your heart a little bit? I think that this is so much more interesting than some of these big highfalutin problems. You run around, you get to eat, if you get to drink, you're happy when you have honey. Something to take with you. I hope you do.
After dancing with black mambas in my other video, I ask, well, what about snakes?
Want the snake bite? This is a snake bite. Wow, so this is a snake bite and they cut after. What kind of snake bit him? He got bit by a black mamba.
Yeah.
He did.
Nice.
And this is the mark left from a black mamba.
All right, I'm glad the sound is all working for everybody here.
You're lucky. Let's say you see a pretty girl, yeah? How does that work? If you want to marry her, what do you have to do?
I ask, what is their biggest struggle?
Yeah, I think that's all that I wanted from that. I just wanted to show you how simple things could be. No? Is this doing anything for you? Now we'll move on then to my the star of the show. This is the guy that he will be the first man inducted into the Saturnian Hall of Fame here, and I have a couple of timestamps to show you. This is Terrence Howard. You may know him from some shows such as Empire. He is a pretty good actor by my estimation. He seems like a nice enough guy. But he has these wild ideas about the way that the nature of existence itself. And I think that there's no better way to explain it than to just let him speak a little bit, and you can see what I'm talking about.
Trying to figure out who in here knows the flower of life? Couple? I'm gonna get you something. Because I want you guys.
How's the sound there?
To know.
Do you want me to hold it?
Huh?
Do you want me to hold it? Okay.
No, I'm gonna hold it up. I want you guys to know about a 6,000-year-old secret. 6,000 years, mankind has been trying to decipher this one little thing called the flower of life. Now, do you know the flower of life?
Everybody
Have you
knows
guys
the
ever
flower.
seen this before? Now, you know this is one of the oldest symbols in
Simbos.
human history, right? Or do you not know? This symbol was found in the Temple of Osiris. in Egypt, and it had been molecularly burned into the wall. And it's 6,000 years old. This same symbol has been found in the forbidden temples in China, sitting under the fufu dogs. And the foot on it, the flower of life, saying whoever controlled that flower of life controlled the universe. There were secrets in that flower of life that Da Vinci spent his whole life trying to uncover. There were secrets in that flower of life that Newton spent his whole life in secret trying to uncover. The same secrets that Pythagoras was desperately trying to uncover. But their problem was they kept seeing this in a two-dimensional space. They couldn't get it out of this two-dimensional frame. And
now, I'd like you to remember as we go forwards that concentric circular shape overlapping over itself. Because I know what you're thinking is that this man is a nut bar. And you wouldn't be far off. But there's several that you will come to see some revelations about this man. But first, more weirdness.
As a result, they got stuck in this plane, a flat plane. Now, what Da Vinci and all of them wanted to do, they were trying to find a way to bring this flower to life, because what is inside of it? Well, apparently, there were secrets inside of it. Shapes, they got the Merkaba and all of those other things out of it. But they were misled by something I think called a straight line. You guys believe in straight lines? You believe there's straight lines in the universe?
Chat, do you believe in straight lines? Go. I'll have to see. It's okay, it can be louder than me here. Uh-oh, we've detected copyrighted audio. From who? Well, whatever. You know what? If
well, let me
happens,
hit you
it
with
happens.
something.
I gave the thing. This is from Oxford.
All energy in the universe is expressed in what? It's in motion. If something is still, there's no energy. Kinetic, right? All motion is expressed in what? You look at galaxies. Are they expressed in straight lines? Expressed in vortices. All vortices are expressed in what? Waves. All waves are curved. Show me a straight line in nature. You show me where the platonic...
Vortices are vortexes. I thought that he had just done like that mispronunciation thing with the O's to vertices, but he is talking about vortices as in the plural of vortexes.
Solids come from. Where do they have their foundation?
I'm sorry, I paused on that, but when he says platonic solids, he wants to know where the platonic solids come from. This is what he's talking about. He's talking about interlocking shapes, of which so far there's only 5 of them. You have tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, dodecahedron, and then a 20-sided icosahedron at the very top. This is... these are shapes that are, theoretical on paper, and they can be perfected on paper or in a computer space, but in real life, he is right. They don't exist. There's no straight line.
In our universe. Are there any straight lines? If you look at anything, there are no straight lines. That's been the mistake. We've been looking at these straight lines, this Euclidean way of thinking, and missing the curvature of nature. So here we are, back with the curvature of nature, and you have all these little pieces. Now, this has always been an information system. So compare some of these points. Take a point here and say, well, what's the space in between all of these things? Now, they've said that all the in-between spaces, if this is the...
I just want to stop. Neebs, that's a great line. All right, back to it.
Earth, and this is the moon right here. All this in-between space is filled with what? A void. There's nothing in the void. Well, I found that there is something in the void.
What has he
the
found?
Elementary fundamental particles that they've been searching for at the CERN collider, the Hadron Collider in CERN. I found that their energy signatures matched perfectly to some of the pieces that I was able to pull out of here. So I'm gonna bring some of those now. Do I have a minute? Am I good? Okay.
Let's see what's here.
Now, all I'm going to show you, because fundamental build, examine them.
I don't think he actually ever gets to what was in the box. He might have, but I don't believe that he ever gets to what was in the box. So now we're moving on to 2025. What are we at? Yep, we got it. Come on.
Small theory, but also quite a lot of other
There we
huge laws of physics.
Are they laws or are they ideas of physics?
Well, why don't you respond to that and talk about how a lot of people have that sort of narrow mindset? And sort of, you talked about identity.
Yeah, the identity element. And then the things that make our math works. Like if I said to you, what's 1 times 1? What'd you say, 1? It equals 1? Now, what would Newton say is that? Action times an action. That's a reaction, right? Anybody in here that thinks 1 times 1 equals 1, then you give me 2 pounds and I'll give you a pound back. And we'll call that even, right?
I have
1 times 1
I have
equals
2
1.
Shit. I have 2 pennies.
An unbalanced equation. What we need to do is, the first thing in math is you're supposed to have a balanced equation. 1 times 1 equaling 1 is an unbalanced equation. But the identity element, which is like the Jim Crow laws of the 60s, they say that anything multiplied by 1 becomes that same number as itself. Well, the laws of physics has to break down in order for that to take place. Action and reaction for 1 times 1 to equal 1. In comparison to if I said, what's a dollar times a dollar?
Are we still there?
Anybody know it's a dollar?
Well, what's
a dime times a dime or 10 pence?
10 pence, yeah.
10 pence times 10 pence?
Play YouTube.
That's a pound, right? 10 pence times 10 pence? Is that right, honey? What about 100
he's
pence
getting
times
snappy
100
with it.
pence? That's a pound times a pound, right? That's $100, ain't it? What about a quarter? What about 4 quarters times 4 quarters? That's $1, right? That's a pound, right? Well, that's $4. Now, all of these things are legal. The banks can say $1 times $1 is $1 and give you that. Or the banks can say to a friend, $1 times $1 is a quarter times a quarter. It's 4 quarters times 4 quarters, and give that person $4.
Now, I've let him go on for a second here, but we understand the basic misconception here with multiplication is that he wants to say that you can times an object by another object, but really it's, I don't know how to best put it. When you multiply something, you're doing whatever that is times the quantity of times to copy it. There is no, I don't believe that it works by crossing things together. It just says, what is 1 once? Well, that's 1. What is 1 twice? Well, that's 2. And somewhere these lines have been crossed for him.
They can say to another person, $1 times $1 is 100 pence times 100 pence. That person gets $100. So that money is generated. And this is all legal. Do you think it's not happening in the banks? This is what 1 times 1 equaling 1 has got us. This inconsistency of our monies and our economy is sitting in the balance. And the rest of our future is sitting in the balance because our science has been stunted as a result of the problems in mathematics, because math asks for the basic laws of physics to break down in order for 1 times 1 to equal 1. In order for 1 times 0 to equal nothing, laws of conservation of energy has to disappear.
Now, he'll get into this, or I don't know, I didn't have the thing take it down, but basically he gets into an argument with a person later on in the video where he explains really what he's saying is 1 times 1 in the real world doesn't function like it does on the paper. It doesn't function like the Platonic solids do on paper because they can't be found. If you get small enough down, there'll always be a break in the line. There'll always be a curve somewhere. What he's saying is that in the real world, when you do 1 times 1, you don't just get 1 because you've done the work. 1 times 1 was done, so you don't have 1. You have 1 squared. And that might still equal 1, but to not say that it is that way, you can understand where he's coming from. It's a new way of thinking about timesing things by one. Timesing one by one. I feel like I'm going crazy now. Let's keep going.
And math is the foundating laws of math is supposed to support the laws of physics. They are arm in arm. They cannot be in controversy with each other. So we need an audit on the Platonic solids. We need an audit on the square root of 2, and we need an audit on action and reaction. Or we either got to get rid of, we say 1 times 1 equals 1, and there's no action and reaction. One or the other. You can't have both. And until we make that change, we're in trouble.
You cannot have both. We do need to get together and figure that out. How it works in the real goddamn world. I will be the first to fund it. Now we move ahead to our final timestamp at 29:50, where I should have taken down better ones to show you these little pricks in the audience thinking they're so goddamn smart to try and question Terry. They have this very, they play their cards very close to their chest. They are really, they're wrangling him in a way. They're trying to get him to say something crazier. And it's just shameful, really.
Go to you in the red jumper.
Thank you for coming. I wanted to ask a question. You seem to be sitting on a wealth of knowledge and something that you've been working on for, how you put 40 years. I was going to ask, how are you living day-to-day life knowing that the rest of the world is doing it, quote-unquote, incorrectly?
Ooh, this would not fly with me. You would have to call. You could not get along without calling this out. How do you get along day to day? How long did you say you were working on it? 40 years you did? You know, it's ridiculous. This is what I'm talking about. This is very un-Saturnian behavior, and you at home will take heed not to behave this way. And if I catch you doing it,
well, it's been 40 years of me dancing on this thing. For 40 years, I was told I was wrong. For 40 years, I was told that, the Platonic solids and all those were the solids. You have to have faith in self. All of this, I can sit up here and tell you guys that, I'm the smartest man in the world. I figured out what Da Vinci and none of them could do. The truth is, you really want to know the truth?
Get ready.
This may be crazier than the fiction. The truth is, I woke up inside my mother's womb at about 6 months of age. I woke up inside of there. Like, boom. I don't know what had happened. Maybe my mother went through some trauma or whatever. But I woke up and I was like, oh, God, I'm here. I'm here. Don't forget. This is truth. Don't forget. Just go by. Every once in a while, I would think about something and this would come over. And I didn't know it was my hand. I thought it was a friend. I had my whole name for it. Inside that womb, you were conscious. You woke up because with our son Kieran, when he was my wife was 6 months pregnant, we would put the light on her stomach and he would follow it and push on it. And then we'd put the music and we'd put it all the way over to the other side and he would crawl all the way over to the other side of the stomach and push at the light with the music. So what I'm saying to you, you are conscious inside the womb, but we have no common frame of reference. But I remembered, don't forget, because I knew I'd been here. Don't forget. And you know what I didn't want to forget? This flower of life. Because apparently I'd been interested in it at a given time. And I came out and I was born. The first thing I thought about when I was 5 years old, I was obsessed with bubbles. I was like, why does a bubble take the shape of a ball? Why not a square or a triangle? And I would go and try and make square or triangular bubbles. And I could never do it because it turns out everything expands as a sphere and everything contracts in geometric form.
Now, is he talking out of his ass? I have not lived his life. I cannot tell him what he has or hasn't experienced. But when we get into the Book of the Dead, the concept of coming back around, that it's not the Abrahamic understanding, like the three big religions of the world. Their understanding is that you come from somewhere, your soul comes out of somewhere, is tested through life in this body, and then upon death you are judged and placed forever onto the good guy or the bad guy server, where you are saved. What? Oh, my stream is no longer blocked due to copyright issues. Is this just... I don't know what's going on. Let's test. If it's Oxford Union, it's a college, are they really going to copyright a talk from Terrence Howard? Well, look, anyway, that was the last thing that I wanted to say about that anyway. So, if we're back, I hope we're back here to stay. Where are we right now? Or what was I talking about? Was I talking about the Buddha thing? Yeah, so okay, yes. So I was saying that Abrahamic faith, they'll send you through life, and then based on if you were good or bad, they'll put you into a permanent server, they'll save your data at the end of time, whether you were good or bad forever. And this strikes me as like not, and of course this is the supernatural we're talking about. Anything is possible, but it strikes me as being very inefficient that you wouldn't take these people at the end of life, cycle them back to the front, and put them into a new body. Doesn't that make more sense? Am I talking out of my ass saying that? Like, if we're talking in a religious context, then, like, your soul coming from somewhere before time, and then possibly winding up in this ever-expanding dump of good and evil people, it's... I don't know. It doesn't make that much sense. But with that said, let's go back to Terrence here. It turns out, is actually just a cool guy. He has invented, with his knowledge of shapes and how they fit together, he has invented this. This is a drone frame. It is called the Lynchpin. And let me see if I can go back to YouTube here, and I'll type up... there, I had it there. Terrence Howard Lynchpin. You can see... Where's the quick one? Yes, the Lynchpin, an introduction.
The Lynchpin. I've been asked many times, what's the significance of the Lynchpin? what's so important about the point where 6 pentagons meet? It all comes down to the common factor of all things. In our life and our
You can see he's got
experience,
his
we
flower of life
often
designs,
spent our
and I think
time
this is his
trying
workshop. He has somewhere in the world, this guy sits with these plastic things in like a Da Vinci workshop where he gets to just use his imagination all day long, and I'm jealous.
reduce things down to their common denominator. Everything has a common denominator and can be reduced to its lowest term. But what's the common denominator of all things? What's the one constitution that all things must abide by?
If you think he's going to tell you what the linchpin is, like I just sort of explained to you, he is not going to do that.
In order to exist or to be measurable in our reality. The linchpin marks that space. It is the common factor of all things. It is the place where 4 bubbles meet.
It is the place where 4 bubbles meet. And you'll understand what he means by that. This is actually cool. I've been
It is the
downplaying
point
this guy for a second here
that
because I
everything
want, when he comes
becomes
in to be fully built up, you will know. Like, you will see. And here, let's go right to it. This is his linchpin competition. He got all of these college kids together to screw around with this shape that he'd come up with. And I don't know if you can see it here. It is just 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 6 pentagons arranged in a particular fashion to form like 3 pentagon each bubbles. That's what he means when he's talking about the bubbles. He's talking about the 3 pentagons that face outwards on each side. So, our first one is 25, 27. Let's start right. We'll start 10 seconds early.
Window, even with like a
I'd like you to
contact
check
mic,
this out.
so you
This is the
could
coolest drone
pick up
I
the
have
vibrations
ever
of people
seen
speaking
in my
from the other
life.
side of a piece of glass or something.
Get ready for this.
Way too many movies.
I like the way that Chris
Okay,
went
come
about mentioning the product, the
Here we go.
application
Okay,
of the
you see
linchpin
this?
itself at the
Watch
beginning,
this shit.
and
This
and the
is
way he
why.
manufactured it, the materials he used to manufacture it, and his way of going about explaining why he's
Ready?
doing it and what he's done,
Did you
why
see
he's
that?
done that.
Did you
I
see
think
the drone? Do a little
Because
tip
I mean,
and
we're
keep
not.
flying? Look
The
at that.
linchpin isn't just resorted to just making drones. It's
That's
the
the
concept of the
coolest thing
shape and what
ever.
it can do, the constructive, the weight, the
So
cohesiveness
however
of
you
it. You
felt,
could take it from that shape to a
in
small
that-
shape. It could
What's
actually
going
be a
on here?
membrane of 1,000 pieces. of
However you
linchpin
felt in that
actually
Oxford
make a
Union
membrane for a
video,
wing.
like this man is
It
insane.
has
What is
so many
going on?
applications.
His
The
creativity,
frequencies of it,
with the
which
help
are
of a
detected
couple
from the
of
aircraft.
technically knowledgeable
I definitely don't have the
nerds
kind of
here,
experience that Brett does, but
has led to
I've flown
something
some,
that's
airplane-
actually
air-
cool.
aircraft,
That could
I
be
still
like
do.
this,
And
there's
I'm
so
always
many
interested in,
applications.
how those wings
I
flex,
mean,
how they
maybe not so
twist,
many applications, but like if you put a
when you're
camera on
doing the
each
arresting
one,
system,
you'd have a
the
pretty cool,
limitations of the machine.
like bird's
Not just
eye
one
thing.
with the way that we're making wings with the Boeing 737,
I don't know what else to say.
777.
Where can I find?
If
Is
we went
this
from
one
a singular
copyrighted?
parallel
This is not
rectangle
copyrighted.
shape
Okay, this is
to
good
a
stuff.
linchpin shape of the same size, what difference would that make to the wing? So the application of how
So all right,
these
we've
guys
seen
are
what it
doing
is.
and making
We've seen how it goes. Look
I
at this
believe
guy.
is-
This is how you're gonna live in the future. This is how you're gonna go to work. By the way, this is what you do now. That girl in the background is what you do now. 20 years from now, that's you with the with the Sega Game Gear and the Virtual Boy on your face. So let's go to 3630 for our next dealie. All right. How are we doing out there? Is this okay? Is anyone having fun? There's 5 of you, and you all know me, so you better be having fun, or I'm gonna scream.
Or to vent.
I can drop.
Oh shoot! Let me get this back up here. There we go.
And
I'll put a video in the chat here. Yeah, I can drop it in the chat here just a moment.
But in this video,
he's eating
it was one of the
breakfast.
things that assured us or gave us confidence that it would create stable flight, because what it ended up doing, Chris can explain it. Okay, I'll explain it. What it ended
for 1 second.
was
I forgot he just leaves when Terrence is about to explain his admittedly very cool flying contraption.
utilizing all of those forces where those four, because here you have 6 pentagonal forces or vectors, 3 coming to each individual space. And when those 3, even if they're contractive and pulling together, when the 3 of them come together, they create a magnetic field, a negative discharging field. Now, oftentimes you would think that would interfere from side to side, but that's what everything does inside the universe. In order to have any expansion, that is the result of 3 contractive forces, 3 sets of fifths that come together, and that's what the geometry of the Lynchpin end up demonstrating. And you would think that the communication between all of these angles, they would create interference and wouldn't create a harmonic node.
Angos.
But the Lynchpin ends up becoming its own perfect harmonic node that resists all of the force, not just the gravity, the force of gravity in the ground, but literally all the forces around the craft, becomes negligent. It's almost creating its own Magnus effect around itself. And I think that is clearly demonstrated in what Kevin just did there. But if we can pull up
So, quick question for you on that. So, are you saying that it's not possible for that to happen with only 6 engines, and that you have to have 12 to get the full capability?
Yeah, you have to have the 12.
That's the one thing that I don't get. Theoretically, you should be able to do this with any inch length of the thing. I don't understand why it has to be 12 inches. But then again, what do I know? I did not. I couldn't come up with anything this cool. I gotta talk on YouTube. That's what I'm good at. Apparently not. Well, hold on. Let's not get that far. Not yet. Not on night 1 should I be saying that I'm good at anything. All right, let's continue. There's only a little bit more to this.
Did we lose you?
I want to know what he's eating.
Oh, he just got back.
No, I'm just multitasking here, trying to click on a bunch of stuff to get it opened up for you. Yeah.
I mean, the 6. That's why you always have lag as it's rolling over, but you have to resist. You can't just. You have to have the 2 of the 6 opposing forces, vortices. The 6 opposing vortices are what is what generates that complete balance.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah, to respond to this.
So I told you at the beginning to remember that little flower of life drawing that he had, the little printout, I forget what they call it, the overhead light paper thing there that your teacher used to scribble on.
Just to talk about this and to respond to what Brett was talking here about.
Look at this.
So yeah, when you have the 2 propellers opposed, you create sort of they're trying to pull a vacuum between the 2 of them because they're both pointing outwards in the vectors. But because your moments are all equal in all vectors, you end up creating sort of like a pressure bubble around the craft, and it also has harmonic resonance to the surrounding atmosphere, right? Because your pressure's outwards versus and it's some feedback to the atmosphere. So what the particle simulation showed us was you'll see the harmonic resonance set up here, and it will literally form the flower of life in a particle field once it starts simulating here. So in this particular case, we have 5 Lynchpins bonded, each with the 12 props simulated in a vortex force. Like you actually put the force vectors in the particle simulation. So your colors are.
Do you see this?
blue represents slow, cold, and then the hot is your fast,
I mean,
high velocity.
this
So
isn't
that's
really
velocity
exact,
vector
but,
is the
like,
color.
it's kind of, he's kind of onto something. I can't say that he doesn't have a little.
Disgusting.
Did you hear that? Let me go back.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I totally get that. The discussion is
One more time.
Disgusting.
He doesn't like his oatmeal. So I think that's as good a spot of any to end our the main brunt of our Terrence Howard piece for the day. As this story evolves, I will be keeping up to date on it. I may even, depending on how expensive they are, I kind of would like a Lynchpin drone, just to say that I have one, that I contributed to what Terrence has going on. So I'll look into that. I'll keep you posted if it's kind of cheap enough. I mean, everybody should have one. So yes, Terrence Howard, everybody, give it up for Terrence Howard. It's minds like his that will be able to figure things out when everything's been figured out, allegedly. But I would be remiss if I did not end with one of the funnier commentaries on Terrence Howard that was given to us by the Stream's own Austin Berry here. This is Jamie Foxx doing some ribbing of Terrence Howard on an old show here.
I don't know how this person still gets work. Fill in the blank. I don't know.
But I know how he gets work. He just saying my. But I know how he. A favorite right now. He got to come holler at me, and that's Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
He got to come holler at me because he really went hard on me, like on this interview on CNN.
Right.
Saying that Jamie Foxx's music wasn't that.
Really though?
Yeah.
Oh, this when he was pushing his.
Yeah, when he was pushing his album, which went Plastic. You know, so you know.
He's referring to Hustle and Flow. I'm sure that is copyrighted, so I can't play that for you. But that's also probably an interesting piece. I can't believe that I overlooked Hustle and Flow. I can't believe that I did this without listening to Hustle and Flow. I'll have to get back to you, and I will give a review of Hustle and Flow. I'm writing it down.
The thing is, I really want to challenge Jamie Foxx, because I just feel like his album is really not that good. And I was like, what the hell? This dude that does the same character in every movie? Like when he was a dead president saying, what's going on with you, man? What's happening with you, man? I'm just playing with you, man. And Ray Charles, what's going on with Ray, man? What's going on with you now, man? Hustle and Flow, what's going on with this Hustle and Flow, man? I'm just trying to get on, man. Iron Man, what's going on with you, Iron Man? So Terrence, you gotta holler at me. You gotta come talk to me on Fox Radio 106 XM.
Neves, I will have to get disgusting. Once I get my soundboard, we'll double back on that. I'm gonna write that down in my little book as well.
149, and really because on my show we don't have any censors, so Terrence got to really get at me. So I'm not saying that he's not great,
righteous,
but I'm just saying.
Got to get at you.
But he got to get at me, and let's just change up the flow a little bit, man. And then what's weird is that he'll do that hard like in the hood, and then when he do an interview, he'd be like soft as Dr. Cotton. Oh my God. Well, really, when I started the character, I just felt as if whatever.
I heard
so
that.
So holler at me, T.
Man, you don't want to just say how you feel for real? You gonna hold it all in right there?
Did you listen to his album?
Yo, listen. I think Terrence Howard is talented. When I first heard, like I've heard him play, whatever like that, I didn't really get the album. People was telling me that it wasn't really, wasn't really his best thing, so I didn't want to look at him in a negative light.
I don't know how he sounded on the album.
No, but I know one thing. I know that he's really about his music, because we was like at a club at the W one time when we was shooting Ray, and 50 was out. in the club,
Right.
and he had his guitar, but Terrence had his guitar in the club, and the song was playing. He was trying to serenade this girl, and I'm like, dude, 50 is playing right now. How you going?
That has honestly been me at more than one party in like high school and college. Being like, no, hey, listen, please, listen, for real.
Man, I don't understand this, man. Why she's not responding? I said, Nick, boy, we in the club. You can't hear that. And then another thing about Terrence Sewell was funny is that he wouldn't get out of character. Like when I did Ray right, I would do Ray. I get through doing my thing. You know, I'm in my Timbs. I'm in my jeans. You know, that was it. So I go to the New Orleans Hornets game, and I'm sitting on the floor, and I look out of the corner of my eye. I see somebody like in a zoot suit or something. I said, man, who is this? With the zoot suit on, but I didn't, I ain't got my glasses on because I wear glasses, so I didn't look down there. So as I'm watching the game or whatever, then I see the person approaching, and out on the corner of my eye, I'm thinking there must be some kind of crazy fan, somebody grandfather, I don't know what's going on. So the person descends on me with the zoot suit, and I look up, it's Terrence. I said, what's up, T? What's going on? I said, Ray, man. I said, what is that, Ray? Why are you calling me Ray, and why are you in the wardrobe from the movie? Man, I'm just saying, Ray, it's a good game, man. Man, I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm a little uncomfortable.
Oh my God, Jamie.
Intuition in stores, December 16th. The album is hot. Christmas stocking stuffer, and I got jokes. I'm going on the road with jokes.
Are you?
I heard that, man.
Next year.
So
holla at me, Terrence.
Like next year.
Terrence, holla at
going
me.
down Intuition
Terrence,
in stores.
All right, that is almost all. We're gonna have an outro here. This was sent to me by my father, and I thought it was just perfect for this. This is well, you'll see what it is, and make sure though that you check out this guy. I can't believe I'm not subscribed to him. Excuse me, and he's getting the bell too. Which, by the way, you see me just do that, subscribe and hit the bell. If you're watching right now, that is the key to a growing channel's continued success. So if you don't mind doing me a favor, even if you didn't like what you saw here, you can help me more quickly get to a niche of people who do. Thank you very much. This has been the Young Saturnians, and I will now leave you with Reverend Kassan and this.
Lock high school, where I don't care about history. Lock high school, 'cause I know where I wanna be. Lock high school, I just wanna get some kicks. I just wanna get some chicks. Lock high school, well, go out there, knock me out, you know. Lock high school, cruising loud in my GTO. Lock high school, I hear the teachers and principal don't wanna be told to be no fool. Lock high school, lock high school. Lock high school, lock high school, high school, oh baby, oh baby, lock high school, lock high school.
Recording career.
I don't care about history. Lock high school, I know where I wanna be. Lock high school, I just wanna have some kicks. I just wanna get some chicks. Lock high school, lock high school. Lock high school, high school, high school, oh baby, oh baby, lock high school, lock high school, high school.
We'll keep them on. Peace out, everybody.